here's something that sounds completely fake. The richest man in France once tried to give up being French, and it didn't even work. I'm talking about Bernard Arnault, the mastermind behind Louis Vuitton, Dior, and a $200 billion luxury empire. Back in September 2012, Arnault quietly filed paperwork in Brussels to become a Belgian citizen. But the media leaked the story before he could control the narrative. The public backlash in France was brutal. But here's the twist that almost everyone leaves out. Arnault never actually moved. He let the application gather dust. He stayed French. So why did the world's ultimate luxury kingpin try to escape in the first place? Because something had just happened in France that made being rich feel for a moment like a financial death sentence. That something was a proposed 75% tax on income over 1 million euros. It didn't just spook billionaires, it caused one of France's most beloved film legends, Gérard Depardieu, to literally pack his bags and flee across the border to a tiny, boring Belgian town. Within months, Vladimir Putin himself personally handed Depardieu a Russian passport. Think about that. A French cultural icon holding a Russian passport over a tax rate that the French government ended up striking down anyway. Most people look at this era and see a simple story of rich guys fleeing high taxes, but they are completely missing the real story. Running away stopped being the strategy. Instead, the ultra-rich realized something much smarter. Staying quiet became the ultimate weapon. To understand how they do it, you have to look at how France's infamous wealth tax actually works. For decades, France taxed your entire fortune: stocks, cash, yachts, real estate. But in 2018, under President Macron, that tax was killed and replaced with something narrower, the IFI, Impôt sur la fortune immobilière. And this is where the system gets absolutely absurd. The new law only taxes real estate. Think about how insane this structural loophole is. If you're a French multimillionaire holding 10 million euros in LVMH stocks, the wealth tax charges you exactly €0. But if you're a retired school teacher in Nice, living in the same modest apartment your family owned for decades, while Riviera property values skyrocketed past 1.3 million euros, you get a tax bill from the government. The tax that was sold to the public as a weapon against the ultra-rich structurally protects billionaires holding financial assets while targeting everyday citizens sitting on bricks and mortar. So, how do families with serious money protect their empires without ever leaving French soil? They use 3 specific legal weapons. Weapon 1, the SCI, Société Civile Immobilière. Instead of owning a luxury villa directly, a wealthy family puts the property inside a private company and holds shares instead. France allows parents to gift up to 100,000 euros per child every 15 years, completely tax-free. By shifting company shares to their kids piece by piece over a few cycles, a massive estate transfers generations without ever triggering a single euro of inheritance tax. This is one of the oldest tricks in French history. They split property ownership into 2 halves. The parents keep the usufruct, the right to live in the mansion or collect its rent. The children get the new propriété, the bare title, which is worth almost nothing on paper today. When the parents pass away, the 2 halves automatically fuse back into full ownership for the children. Inheritance tax owed? 0. Weapon 3, assurance-vie, the shadow bank. It translates to life insurance, but it's actually a hyper-optimized tax shelter. Nearly 2 trillion euros are hidden inside these accounts across France. Keep your money in there for over 8 years, and your investment gains are taxed at a fraction of the normal rate. The wealth isn't missing, it's just sitting in a legal blind spot. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why go through all this legal gymnastics? Why not just drive 15 minutes down the road to Monaco? 0 income tax, yacht-friendly, no real borders? It seems like the obvious escape hatch, right? Well, I'm about to ruin that fantasy for you. Monaco is a legal trap for French citizens. Back in 1962, So many French citizens were moving to Monaco that France literally put up a military customs blockade on the border. They forced Monaco to sign a treaty in 1963 that remains active to this very day. It states that any French citizen who moves to Monaco remains fully liable for French income tax, forever, as if they never left. If you are British, American, or German, Monaco is a tax haven. If you are French, it's just a very expensive prison. This is why the French wealthy who actually want to leave go to Switzerland instead, where they can negotiate a flat-rate tax deal called forfait fiscal. But even leaving has become a financial nightmare. France has a brutal exit tax written into Article 167B of the tax code. The moment you move your residence abroad, the government treats it as if you sold all your stocks and assets on your way out the door, taxing your unrealized gains immediately. And right now, a massive shift is happening. The French National Assembly has approved a major reform, moving from the old real estate tax to a brand new tax called IFI, a tax on unproductive wealth.
This new 2026 law expands the tax net to target yachts, art collections, cryptocurrency, and high-end jewelry. The government is slowly closing the exact legal gaps that made financial assets safe for the last decade. Every few years, the government redraws the line of what is legal and what is hidden. Real estate was safe until it wasn't. Financial assets became the safe harbor, until now.
The ultra-wealthy aren't actually running from country to country. They're running from asset class to asset class, always staying one single tax reform ahead of the rest of us, all while keeping the exact same passport. Gérard Depardieu took a Russian passport over a tax that didn't even last. Bernard Arnault panicked and filed Belgian paperwork he never used. Meanwhile, the smartest families in France aren't doing anything dramatic. They are just quietly changing which box their money sits in this year.